In the previous episode, I left home bound for Sydney and onwards to Hawkesbury River Railway Station, where I had brunch and hopped back onto the trains. I ended that video at Gosford, which is where we start the second leg of this video series, towards Newcastle. For many years, Gosford was a rather run-down city, with most shops heading out to Erina Fair. However, in the last 5 years there has been a resurgence of activity in the Gosford city centre, including a relatively new, large ATO office. Next stop, Narara, which was opened in 1887. Tundela was opened in 1902 and renamed Niagara Park a month later. Lisero was opened as Jenkins Siding in 1892. 10 years later it changed its name to Wyoming, and 6 months later it's changed to Lisero. The area around Oranbar has a special place in Aboriginal culture. The Oran was a belt of manhood, which would hold such tools as a stone axe. The Oran bar with an N was the ceremonial place where a young man would receive his Oran. This train terminates at Wyong. So that I don't have to go up and over the stairs at Wyong, I have decided to alight here at Tuggerah to change trains to the Newcastle bound service. Next station is Wyong. I'll do a destination video on Wyong at a later date. This is the terminating stop for all station services between Sydney and Wyong. On to Warnervale. Warnervale is named after Albert Hamilton Warner, a 19th century world traveller who purchased land in this area. He was influenced by the United States and Japan. Wai derived from the Aboriginal term for fire or place of bushfires. Morisset was once the terminating station for all station services between Newcastle and Morisset. However, the majority of these now go through to Sydney. The train that I am on is an example of the all station service. Next stop is Dora Creek. Dora Creek was initially called Dori, which means creek running into a lake. Dora Creek does run into Lake Macquarie. The railway tracks behind Platform 1 and Awaba go to the abandoned Wangi Power Station. The Aboriginal people of Lake Macquarie area were known as the Awabakal people, and Awaba was the name for Lake Macquarie. At Fassifern, only platforms 2 and 3 are in use. The old Platform 1 is once catered for the train service through to Toronto. However, this is now abandoned. There is a rail trail you can walk along to see the old route to Toronto. I may do this walk as an abandoned lines video. Next stop is Burrigal. Burrigal once had station buildings on the island platform. However, the Newcastle earthquake in 1988 extensively damaged those buildings and were demolished. Turalba Station was originally opened as 2 side platforms. But in the 1980s, when the tracks were being electrified, it was decided to convert the southbound platform into an island platform to enable trains to go through the section faster. Cockle Creek once had 4 platforms, 2 for the main Northern Railway line and 2 for a mixed goods railway line that branched out to Wallsend. The main purpose of the line was for collieries. On to Cardiff, which is one of the most busiest stations in the Newcastle area. The Cardiff area was known as Lymington in the 1880s, but it was too similar to another locality for the post office's liking. One of the many Welsh settlers which arrived in this area suggested the name Cardiff. The name stuck in 1889. Katara Station is in a funny position, leading to it only receiving 40 passengers on average per day, according to 2013 figures. Considering that the Homemaker Centre in Westfield's Katara does border the railway, it might be better if the station was moved a bit up the line. Adamstown has a disused platform which once carried passengers towards Belmont. However, the main use of the line was to cart coal out of coal mines. It is now a rail trail bike track, which I may or may not do as an abandoned railways video. Next stop is Broadmeadow. Broadmeadow is where the northbound XPT and Explorer services stop to service Newcastle. It is also where the Australian Rail Track Corporation houses their signalling facility for the northern region, which reaches right up to the Queensland border. Next stop is Hamilton. Some stabling sidings were built in Hamilton once the railway line was truncated at the station now called Newcastle Interchange. Hamilton is where you can change trains for the Hunter line to Dungog, Scone and Muswell Brook. Newcastle Interchange is a fairly new station, opened in 2017. Some of the railway from Newcastle Interchange station to the old Newcastle station has been converted to light rail. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And hit the bell icon so you know when I've created another video. Bye-bye.